Hey guys, so the other half of the Dawning event consists of updated strikes and the strike scoring system, something that I've been hoping would become a thing for about 2 years now. As usual, a disclaimer that Activision invited me to PlayStation Experience to check out the Dawning event early and capture some footage. So, 3 strikes are getting updated for the Dawning: the Nexus, Will of Crota, and Taniks, aka the Shadow Thief. The Nexus has been takenified for the most part, but it's not that annoying. Will of Crota has been Siva-fied with the most screw-it reasoning I have ever heard for something coming back from the dead.
Hive General with a lovely voice. She's back.
Vanguard scouts report she's undone her death.
Undone her death? You make it sound like she pulled her knitting apart.
Eris would tell you not to make light of this.
That's why she's not here.
And the Shadow Thief was also Siva-fied. The Nexus essentially remains the same as a strike experience until you get about halfway through. The big doorway you go down into now requires you to open up a Vex plate first before continuing and fight some adds, and the final boss has actually been made into something somewhat interesting. First of all, there are 2 different versions of the final boss, the Taken version and the regular version. The Taken version basically turns the fight into a mini version of the Templar encounter from Vault of Glass. The boss will gain a shield once it hits a certain health point, a relic will drop, and you use the relic to blast away the shield. The regular version of the boss will debuff all players, making their screen slowly go black until one person from the team cleanses themselves. You cleanse yourself by running into a pool of light. That cleanse will also cleanse everyone else on the team. Will of Crota did not appear to receive any significant changes until you get to Omnigull herself. The boss encounter has been changed to make it not as annoying as it was previously. The biggest change is that you must fight in the room that Omnigull is in. You cannot hide in the usual spot because the doors close. That being said, the amount of adds that spawn during the encounter has been reduced in a big way. Omnigull will now disappear when her health reaches certain thresholds and then summon things for you to kill. Wizards do not appear to spawn anymore. The green mist from the Wretched Eye also covers a lot of the floor, so you need to be more careful. That green mist will slow you down dramatically. The Shadow Thief also does not have too many changes. The strike has been Siva-fied, so a lot of the changes that you might expect, well, you should expect them. Siva enemies, Siva Walker, you get it. The Taniks encounter has also changed when in Siva form. Once his health reaches a certain point, he will gain a shield. The only way to get rid of this shield is to blow up all of the Siva nodes in the area. Then you can go back to killing Taniks. In short, I like the changes done to the strikes, but I will talk about my thoughts more in another video, probably the day after the Dawning launches. Next is strike scoring. Strike scoring works in a very similar way to Prison of Elders. You kill stuff and you get points. The thing that you kill and how you kill it also determines the amount of points you get. The 2 biggest changes compared to Prison of Elders are that 1, assists no longer give points, which is a good thing in my opinion, and 2, you are awarded medals during strikes based on how you kill things. For example, killing 3 things in a row with a primary weapon gets you a primary medal, giving you some bonus points. Obviously there's a little bit more depth to it than that, but essentially you kill stuff and you get points. Here's another example. A rainbow medal is earned when you get a primary medal, a special medal, and a heavy medal. There are points for killing a lot of stuff during the strike, points for not dying during the strike, etc, etc, and the Nightfall also has the scoring system in place. Speaking of which, a new set of bounties, I believe called the Vanguard Elite bounties, will now be available for completion. Commander Zavala will offer these bounties related to making your way through strikes, including one for the Nightfall. In case you haven't heard from another video I did, Icebreaker is returning to Destiny. Icebreaker has a random chance to drop from this Nightfall-based bounty from Zavala, so you're going to want to grab that if you want a chance at the Icebreaker. Strike scoring is not limited to the Dawning either. It will stay around after the event is over, which I can only assume to mean until further notice. Strike scoring will appear in the Nightfall, the Siva Crisis, and the Heroic Siva Crisis strike playlists. However, one big negative is, much like Prison of Elders, at least as far as I know, there are no leaderboards for strike scoring. Definitely we'll talk about that later. Some other minor notes include adjustments to skeleton key drop rates. I have been told that skeleton key drop rates will be improving. How exactly will be determined. Also, and this is probably one of the best changes to all of Destiny, when you're level 40, all green engrams will now automatically dismantle into armor materials or weapon parts as you pick them up. No more purposely avoiding greens anymore. You can just step on them and they will turn into materials. Thank you. Next includes some changes to ornaments. Mainly I think it's related to weapons, but it could be armor as well. There will now be an ornament store where you can buy any ornament from a previous event for 25 silver dust, and that price is firm regardless if you have ever had the ornament or not. So basically the store will sell any of the ones that are available right now, but not the ones coming in the Dawning. I do not know if the ones available in the Dawning will then go to the kiosk after the event is over. I would assume so, but I don't have any confirmation. As a result of this, Xur will no longer sell ornaments. I know some people were waiting for any news for people who accidentally delete weapons or armor with ornaments in them. Unfortunately, I do not have any updates for you at this time on that topic. So those are a bunch of updates coming to strikes with the Dawning. Again, scoring will be sticking around after the event, which is a good thing. And yeah, that's about it. If there's a demand for full strike gameplays, please let me know in the comments because that can be uploaded, but the majority of the changes and additions were in this video. I may upload the 3 revised boss fights into one video instead of all 3 full strikes. Anyway guys, that's it for me. If you enjoyed this video, a positive rating would be appreciated. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.